Train the muscles, not the joints.
Welcome back to Natural Gallant Bodybuilding, and today I'm going to talk to you a little bit about carbs and why some people may be having different experiences than other people. So this video is made for Brian Fraser, one of my Patreon supporters, and he asked the question of why does he seem to gain body fat from eating just a small amount of carbs, whereas when he's on a really low carb diet and eating fats and proteins, he seems to be much leaner and he tends to lose body fat and he doesn't tend to put on so much body fat. So I'm stepping on sticks here. There's sticks everywhere and it's like I gotta step on the shit. That's why I'm dancing around like I got, like I'm pissing my pants or something. It's because there's sticks everywhere. I like stable ground when I'm talking, you know what I mean? But there's never any stable ground in the forest. But so that's my rant for now. So anyway, Brian, there could be a couple things going on or maybe a lot of things, right? But for me, a lot of times I just take everything down to this moment and what is working in this moment. And as much as I may try and find out what is wrong with me, like what is the problem? Do I have some sort of digestive system issue? Like, is there some acidophilus issue, like the bacteria, the gut flora? Is it not processing the carbs properly? Maybe I need the intestine product from ancestral supplements to help digestion enzymes in the intestines. Maybe I need the pancreas supplement to help with digestion as far as carbs and stuff in the stomach. I try to look at these things and say maybe there's an issue here with enzymes or digestion. Maybe I'm having trouble because I have some sort of deficiency in the enzymes, right? And also there might be some sort of other problem. Maybe you have like some sort of health issue. Maybe there's an ulcer or something. Maybe that's affecting digestion. So there could be a lot of reasons why the digestion is going off in different directions, and it's worthwhile investigating that. But I do 100% also know that a lot of the starches and carbs that we have in our modern day society are flawed, right? A lot of them are GMO. A lot of them have pesticides and toxins in them. They're not all organic, right? So there is this other variable that's in the mix that really has nothing to do with whether you are healthy or not. It has to do with your body's not really designed to ingest and digest toxins. The other thing to think about also, which a lot of naturopaths talk about, is the molds that are in carbohydrates when they're stored in these facilities and like bags of rice in these warehouses for long periods of time, or even potatoes. I mean, you leave them on the counter for a period of time, you can see that they start to get moldy, right? So when things are stored and shipped over periods of months, long periods of time, this can also create another thing that happens in the whole thing where there's mold or other types of bacteria that are introduced into your diet, which your body doesn't necessarily have an easy time dealing with, right? So because of this, some people seem to have a higher tolerance to dealing with that stuff than others, and some people seem to digest the carbs really easily and there's no issue. But other people, depending on where their weak link is in their digestive system, this might be the magic bullet that prevents them from really utilizing that starch properly. Or maybe they have a severe reaction or a higher reaction to it, so the body's immune system kicks in and then there's a blood sugar response, right? The blood sugar goes up, blood sugar goes down. I don't have the blood sugar analysis or the test to show this, but this may influence how much body fat you put on. Now, I noticed this from personal experience myself a long time ago when I was competing, because when you're at 4% or 6% body fat, you really notice every single food you put in your body and what happens with it. And one thing I did notice is that when I had starches, I would retain a lot more water, especially rice, pastas, oatmeal even. I would retain water immediately. It was almost like there was an allergic reaction, a mild allergic reaction in the body. And then of course, if I did that too much, then I started to put body fat on where I was retaining the water. So I noticed that if I wanted to be ultimately shredded, I could not have a lot of starches in my diet. And if I did, I had to be careful about which starches I used. Yams seemed to work better for me, and potatoes seemed to work better for me than rice or oatmeal, right? And fruits like blueberries and stuff like that, I was fine with, right? But if you look at the type of starches that are stored for long periods of time, pastas and rice, like grains and oatmeals, those are stored for a lot longer period of time than say a potato, right? Potatoes go bad. So the fact is that there's possibly something like that, like the shipping chain or chain of supply going on, that also is affecting how your body is dealing with these foods, right? In the end, what I do is I go back to simplicity. I say, what's happening, right? And Brian said specifically that his entire life he noticed this. As soon as he touched starches, he started to put on body fat. Well, yeah, maybe there's just something going on in your system where starches are not agreeing with you, and you need to be more of a fat energy guy. You need to rely more on keto type diets or carnivore type diets. These type of diets are probably more suited for what's going on in your digestive system at this time. Now, can there be some weak links? Can there be some enzyme deficiencies? Could there be some stuff like that? Yeah, check it out. And I do also recommend going to a naturopath and getting allergy corrections done, or sensitivity corrections done. Now, some of you guys don't believe in this stuff, but the fact is that your body mind has a certain intelligence to it. And if it perceives something as an intruder or an enemy, then it will have a reaction to it. And this will also cause a blood sugar spike or a rise and a fall or whatever. Like there's gonna be almost like a panic reaction to certain foreign invaders in your body, right? And if your body perceives food as a foreign invader, it could cause an issue. So this happened with me when I got food poisoning from chicken breast and rice. I went to a restaurant, got severe food poisoning before the Natural Olympia back in 1998. And what happened was, after that, I noticed my body never, ever, ever reacted to rice or chicken the same way again. It actually started to react to those foods like they were a virus. So when I would ingest those foods, no matter where they ended up in my body, I would get this reaction or this edemic reaction or this immune system response where my body would actually retain water. So it is a fact. Like if your body goes through a certain trauma while it's eating a certain food, or the food is linked to a certain trauma or some sort of toxicity, it will cause your body to react in a different way. So yeah, you want to reset that system. And one way you reset the system is by stabilizing the blood sugar and also hooking up with an energetic healer. Some of these naturopaths can do certain types of healing, which helps your body correct its misunderstandings around what food is enemy and what food is friend. Now, you could decide to go down that path. If you've tried all the medical paths, you've tried like mercury toxicity or heavy metal toxicity, which is the next thing I'm going to talk about, because if you have heavy metal toxicity in your body, it will throw a lot of things out of whack, right? If you have too much mercury in there or whatever else, like say you just have some sort of lead in your body, you know, these things totally mess up your system and cause your body to misinterpret stuff. And yeah, vaccines and stuff have a lot of mercury in them. There's a lot of heavy metals in this stuff and a lot of inert sort of substances which can cause confusion in the body's immune system, and that will also affect the digestive system. So yeah, you can start investigating certain substances like NDF. NDF is a highly micronized chlorella which assists with leaching out the mercury or heavy metals or toxins out of the system. Now, the other thing it's supposed to help with is also getting out pesticides and stuff. So some of the pesticides that we ingest in our food, which can be heavily found in some of our carbohydrate sources, could also be affecting how you're digesting your foods. So using something like NDF may help you pull out those toxins, so therefore your body is no longer perceiving food as an enemy, vice versa. But in the end, you might just have a system that just says, hey, you know, starches are just not for me. I'm more a protein and fat guy, and there's nothing wrong with that, right? Because you can have really great sustainable energy and stable blood sugar from eating lots of greens, lots of protein, and lots of good fats. So yeah, I wouldn't worry about it too much. Just do it that way. You know what I mean? I find carbohydrates to be incredibly anabolic for me, as far as they help me put on muscle at times. But at the same time, there is a carbohydrate burden that my own body goes through from time to time where I need to cut back on them and just stay with mostly protein and mostly fats. So yeah, just play around with it. Just see what you notice and honor what you notice. I guess that's the most important thing I could tell you, is honor what you notice your body responds to, and organize your nutrition around that. So thanks for being a patron, Brian. And thanks a lot for supporting this channel. Thanks a lot to the rest of the patron supporters. And if you guys need to get a hold of me, just go to naturalgallantbodybuilding.com.
Mountain.